It's a new year, and with it comes some new rules and regulations across Canada you should be aware of.
We've got this huge influx of people on Canadian soil expecting permanent residence who won't get it.
Ottawa has set new immigration targets. After welcoming more than 483,000 new residents in 2024, the federal government has slashed targets from 395,000 last year to 380,000 this year. The number will be cut even more in 2027 to 365,000 new permanent residents. That includes temporary foreign worker targets, which aim to recruit 230,000 compared to 365,000 in 2025. But the largest cut will be felt by Atlantic universities. Canada will issue 155,000 new student visas this year. Last year, the number was over 400,000.
For generations, the United States dominated the global economy, not solely through corporate power or financial capital. America dominated because it attracted the world's best minds, scientists, engineers, researchers, and entrepreneurs from every corner of the globe built their futures in the United States, and in doing so, built America itself. That competitive advantage is ending in January 2026, not because of military conflict or economic collapse, but because of deliberate policy choices under Donald Trump. The United States is tightening the immigration system that fueled its innovation engine for decades. While Washington debates delays and restricts entry, other countries are moving decisively. Canada and China are capitalizing on American uncertainty. The global talent pool is responding to these new opportunities. What is unfolding right now is not a temporary immigration adjustment. This is the early stage of a global realignment of innovation power. Population growth drives economic expansion. The U.S. economy relies heavily on immigrant workers across the skill spectrum. Canada has emerged as a leader in talent acquisition from the United States. China, India, and the United Kingdom are following similar strategies. Canada specifically is investing $1.2 billion in a talent attraction initiative targeting artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, biotechnology, aerospace, and medical research professionals. High-skilled immigration is foundational to the U.S. economy, not peripheral. Entire industries depend on immigrant talent. Artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, biotechnology, cybersecurity, aerospace, and clean energy all rely heavily on workers born outside America. Donald Trump's renewed approach to immigration, particularly around H-1B visas, has dramatically altered this equation. For those already working in the United States, uncertainty has become standard. Visa renewals are slower, employer dependency is tighter, pathways to permanent residency feel increasingly fragile. For professionals outside the U.S., the message is clearer. Entry has become unpredictable, bureaucratic, and increasingly political. This is not simply about border control, this is about risk perception. Highly skilled professionals do not move their families, careers, and futures into systems they cannot trust. When uncertainty becomes structural, talent begins looking elsewhere, not out of protest but out of practicality. Once that shift begins, it accelerates. Canada has been preparing for this moment quietly and methodically. Rather than reacting emotionally to U.S. policy changes, Ottawa has focused on building one of the most predictable and talent-friendly immigration systems in the developed world. This includes faster processing times, flexible work permits, and critically clear pathways to permanent residency and citizenship. This matters enormously. Talent does not just chase salary, it chases stability, belonging, and long-term opportunity. Canada's approach signals something specific to prospective immigrants. You are not just a worker here, you are a future citizen. That message resonates deeply with scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs who want roots, not just employment contracts. The Canadian government has backed this strategy with serious investment, over $1.2 billion dedicated specifically to global talent attraction across high-growth sectors like artificial intelligence, clean technology, advanced manufacturing, and health sciences. This is not generosity. This is economic strategy. Canada understands that in a knowledge-driven economy, people are infrastructure. Canada offers 2-week visa turnaround times. Visas are not employer-specific. The system allows for digital nomads. Visas lead to permanent residency and citizenship. The United States is not providing these options. America has approximately 6-month turnaround times. Visas are employer-specific. The U.S. does not allow digital nomads. The H-1B program being revamped does not offer a path to residency or citizenship. The consequences of Donald Trump's policies are no longer hypothetical. Surveys and institutional data show thousands of researchers, scientists, and technical specialists actively considering leaving the United States. Foreign student enrollment, the pipeline that feeds America's innovation ecosystem, has already dropped sharply. This creates a cascading effect. Universities lose top researchers, startups struggle to recruit, companies delay innovation, costs rise as labor shortages increase. Once ecosystems weaken, rebuilding them is extremely difficult. Innovation clusters depend on density, people learning from people, building networks, and creating momentum. When that density disperses, leadership slips. The irony is stark. In attempting to protect American jobs through restriction, the U.S. risks undermining the very industries that create those jobs. Over 1,500 scientists are actively considering leaving the United States as of January 2026. This will cause a skill shortage. It may increase wages for U.S. workers in the short term, but it is also likely to increase costs for consumers, substantially reduce gross domestic product, and potentially leave positions unfilled if domestic workers cannot fill them. The administration hopes to address this through apprenticeships and having foreigners come temporarily to train American workers. China is making its own calculated adjustments. China's approach is not identical to Canada's. It remains selective, controlled, and strategic, but the direction is unmistakable. Beijing is opening targeted pathways for science technology, engineering and mathematics, artificial intelligence, semiconductor, and advanced manufacturing talent, particularly in areas critical to long-term technological leadership. This matters geopolitically. China is not simply trying to catch up, it is trying to redirect global innovation flows by positioning itself as an alternative destination for top-tier talent. Frustrated by U.S. uncertainty, China strengthens its domestic capabilities, while weakening American dominance. Canada and China are not coordinating policy, but they are benefiting from the same U.S.-created vacuum. This is not ideology, this is opportunity responding to available space. China is not freely distributing visas, but it is actively trying to attract more people, especially in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and artificial intelligence fields. Applicants still go through vetting processes and will be tracked once they arrive. They cannot use systems like Gmail. However, China is actively recruiting talent and making it lucrative and inviting for professionals, especially in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. This moment aligns with the leadership philosophy of Prime Minister Mark Carney. Carney has consistently argued that modern economic power is built on human capital, institutional trust, and long-term planning. His background in global finance and economic governance makes him acutely aware that countries win not by exclusion but by attraction.